Now Shark Tank has seen it all. Billion-dollar ideas, laughable flops, and everything in between. But sometimes, a pitch doesn't just raise eyebrows, it sets off alarms. We're talking fake science, rigged tech, and health claims with zero backing. Products that were pitched like gold mines, but looked more like legal trouble. And when the sharks smell something shady, they don't hold back. These aren't just bad ideas. They're borderline cons that tried to sneak onto national TV. Let's kick things off with a product so bizarre, most viewers thought it had to be a joke. But the sharks weren't laughing. 7. UroClub, the golf club. And yeah, this one actually happened. The UroClub was pitched as a solution for male golfers who didn't want to leave the course to use the bathroom. What was the solution? A golf club you could literally pee into. It looked like a regular club, but the shaft was hollow with a screw-on cap and came with a towel to hang over yourself for privacy. The sharks were speechless, not because they didn't understand it, but because they did. The inventor, a urologist named Dr. Floyd Seskin, claimed it solved a real problem. Long games, no bathrooms, awkward situations. In his mind, this was a medical tool disguised as a golf accessory. But the sharks weren't buying it. Kevin Harrington saw some novelty value, sure. But the rest? They couldn't get past the visuals, or the smell this would leave on a brand. Worse, the product had already been floating around online, raising eyebrows about whether it was ever meant to be serious, or just a bizarre PR stunt that landed on TV. Not every bad pitch is bizarre. Some start out normal, then go off the rails anyway. 6. ShowNo Towels, the hoodie towel that vanished. This pitch looked simple, harmless, even useful. A towel with a hole in the middle so kids could throw it over their heads and change clothes in public without flashing anyone. The founder walked in with confidence and actually scored a deal with Lori Greiner on air. But what happened after was pure chaos. Off camera, the deal fell apart. Then came public complaints. The founder went on a media tour accusing Lori of stealing the concept, despite there being zero legal proof. Lawsuits were threatened. Social media got involved. In the end, there was no major launch, no retail breakthrough, and no redemption arc. Just one bitter entrepreneur and a product that quietly disappeared. What started as a modest beach fix turned into a mess of finger-pointing and flameouts. The sharks weren't just out. They were lucky to stay out. If ShowNo was a cautionary tale about trust, this next one is a lesson in what happens when innovation goes completely off the rails. 5. Licki Brush, the cat tongue brush for humans. Yes, this was real. The Licki Brush was a silicone device that let you lick your cat without using your actual tongue. You'd bite down on the handle and groom your pet by dragging the rubber bristles through its fur like a mother cat would. The pitch? Dead serious. The delivery? So bizarre it almost seemed like a prank. But the product was real. It sold online. The inventors claimed it created a bonding experience between humans and their cats. And somehow, the sheer absurdity of it gained viral traction, though not always in the way the creators intended. The sharks didn't invest. Most were stuck between disbelief and concern. Was this pet love, or just performance art? The problem wasn't whether it worked. It was what it represented. A blurry line between niche innovation and emotional exploitation. Was this really for cats, or just for clicks? Either way, it left viewers stunned. Not just by the pitch, but by the fact that it actually existed. 4. Ionic Ear, the implant that crossed the line. This pitch wasn't just ahead of its time, it was way off the rails. The inventor came in proposing a Bluetooth device that you surgically implant into your ear. Yep, as in an actual operation, just to avoid wearing earbuds. The sharks were stunned, not just because of how extreme it sounded, but because the product skipped every layer of real-world testing, regulation, and practicality. The next idea? Let's just say it combined breakfast with fire hazards. 3. Waken Bacon, the alarm clock that cooks meat by your bed. This pitch started off quirky, but quickly ran into health hazard territory. The Waken Bacon was pitched as a revolutionary alarm clock that didn't just wake you up with sound, but with the smell of sizzling bacon. How? You'd place a frozen strip of raw bacon in a small tray overnight, and 10 minutes before your alarm, the device would begin cooking it. Yeah, raw meat, next to your bed, while you slept. The founder framed it as a lifestyle upgrade, an experience for bacon lovers. But the Sharks saw a liability lawsuit waiting to happen. Barbara Corcoran immediately asked, "You expect people to leave raw pork sitting out for hours?" Kevin O'Leary leaned in harder, pointing out the potential for bacteria, grease fires, and product recalls. It didn't help that the prototype looked more like a science fair project than a safe consumer product. No safety certifications, no temperature regulation, just a heating tray and wishful thinking. The Sharks didn't just pass, they almost laughed him out of the room. It wasn't about the idea being silly, it was the fact that it turned food safety into a gimmick. And while bacon sells, lawsuits don't. Then came a product that actually made it to market. And that's when the real problem started. 2. Breathometer, the drunk tech that got busted. This one looked solid at first. A pocket-sized breathalyzer you could plug into your phone to check if you were safe to drive. The pitch was smooth, the idea felt useful, and all 5 Sharks jumped in. But the trouble started once the cameras stopped rolling. By 2017, the FTC had stepped in. And what they uncovered wasn't just a faulty gadget. The breathometer was marketed as an accurate blood alcohol tester, but internal data showed it couldn't reliably detect intoxication. Worse, the company reportedly knew it didn't work, but kept selling it anyway. Users were out there relying on this thing to decide if they were safe to drive. That's not just a business failure, that's dangerous. Eventually, the app was pulled, refunds were issued, and Mark Cuban admitted it was one of the most disappointing investments he'd made on the show. The breathometer was slick and overhyped, but at least it shipped. This next pitch didn't even make it out of the fantasy stage, and the Sharks saw right through it. Number 1. Sullivan Generator, gold from ocean water. This pitch sounded like something out of a Bond villain's playbook. Inventor Mark Sullivan walked into the tank claiming he'd built a machine that could not only generate electricity using ocean water, but also extract gold in the process. Yes, actual gold. From seawater. He called it the Sullivan Generator, and it looked like a steampunk fever dream. Gears, tanks, coils, and a storyline that kept getting wilder the longer he spoke. Sullivan claimed that the process would generate enough electricity to power cities and produce precious metals as a byproduct, all with zero environmental downside. The Sharks sat in stunned silence, then pounced. Mark Cuban asked for data. None existed. Damon John questioned the logistics. Kevin O'Leary, ever the realist, called it what it was: pseudoscience. No lab verification, no engineering vetting, no proof the machine even worked. Just a patent and a pile of claims. By the end, the Sharks weren't even angry. They were concerned. This wasn't just an unworkable idea. It was a dangerous mix of hype, fantasy, and zero accountability. No deal, no second look, just a hard stop from every investor on the panel. At the end of the day, the Sharks aren't just investing in products, they're investing in people. And when a pitch crosses the line from bold to dishonest, the answer is simple. It's a no. Because on Shark Tank, the truth always comes out.